Aaron Blake had never expected to be anywhere near a royal alien ceremony. He was just an engineer, part of a small human delegation sent to the Valoran Empire to study their technology. Humans were rare in these parts, and most of the aliens did not care about them at all. Aaron liked it that way. Quiet corners and unnoticed tasks suited him. He did not want attention. He liked to fix machines, study patterns, and learn from the vast alien knowledge without anyone watching. The hall was enormous. Light flowed through crystal windows, casting colors across the polished floor. The air smelled faintly metallic, with hints of herbs burned in ceremonial ways. Aaron followed the human ambassador, a tall woman named Claire Benson, who kept whispering reminders about protocol. Aaron hardly heard her. His eyes were on the crowd of alien dignitaries and the row of champions who would compete for the princess's favor. The Valoran Empire had strict traditions. Princess Kalia, daughter of the Emperor, was to pick a mate from among the strongest and bravest of their warriors. Every year, aliens from different worlds were brought to test themselves and show their skill. Only the most impressive would even be considered. And yet, this year, humans were allowed to watch, as if mere spectators could somehow add value to the ceremony. Aaron stayed at the back, near a tall pillar. He shifted from one foot to another, feeling slightly out of place. The other humans were in a neat group, dressed in formal clothes that made them look stiff and small. Alien eyes turned to them now and then, but mostly they ignored them. It was as if humans were just another kind of animal, curious but irrelevant. Aaron felt comfortable with that. He liked being invisible. The hall became silent as a drumbeat echoed from far above. The sound was deep and vibrating. It reached into Aaron's chest, making him stiffen. It was a signal that the ceremony had begun. The air seemed heavier, charged with expectation. Aaron looked at the row of alien champions. They were tall, wide, armored, and fierce. Muscles rippled under shining scales or glimmering skin. They held strange weapons with spikes, blades, or strange glowing energy. Every one of them looked like they could tear a human in half without thinking twice. Aaron's heart thumped. He felt small and fragile, like a mouse in a den of lions. He glanced at Claire, who tried to reassure him. "Stay calm," she whispered. "Just watch." Aaron nodded, though he did not feel calm. He took a deep breath and tried to focus on the ceremony instead of his own fear. The princess appeared. She stepped into the hall on a platform that glowed faintly under her feet. Her presence was commanding. Even from the back, Aaron could feel it. Her skin shimmered with faint iridescence, her eyes deep and bright like polished gems. She wore a flowing gown that looked alive, shifting in color as she moved. There was power in the way she walked, and every eye in the hall followed her. Kaelia stopped at the center of the platform. She raised her hand, and silence fell deeper than before. The alien champions straightened, weapons at the ready, waiting for her signal. She did not speak immediately. She only looked around, her gaze sharp, scanning each competitor. Then her eyes seemed to go further, past the armored champions, past the council members, past everyone. Aaron did not notice at first. He was too busy thinking about how out of place he was, about how he did not belong in this hall, about how humans were considered weak. Then he felt a glance, a strange, warm pressure on the back of his neck. He turned slightly and froze. Kalia's eyes were on him. He looked away quickly. Surely it was a mistake. Surely she was looking at someone behind him. He glanced back. She was still staring at him. Aaron swallowed hard. His hands felt sweaty. He wanted to shrink back, to disappear behind the pillar, but somehow he could not move. The drumbeat stopped. The room waited. Then Kalia lifted her hand again and pointed directly at Aaron. Gasps filled the hall. Alien voices shouted. Aaron did not understand most of them, but he knew the sound was shocked, outraged, disbelieving. The council members whispered urgently to each other. The champions looked at each other in confusion. Some laughed nervously, thinking it might be a mistake. Aaron could not move. He felt frozen, his mind empty. "Me?" he whispered. Under his breath, Kalia nodded. She stepped down from the platform and walked toward him. The hall seemed to shrink around him. Every eye followed her slow, measured steps. The colors of her gown shifted with her movement, reflecting lights on the walls and floor. Aaron's knees felt weak. He wanted to protest, to explain that he was not part of the competition, that he was just a human visitor, that he had no strength, no skills, nothing that could matter to an alien princess. But no words came. Kaelia stopped before him. She placed her hand on his shoulder. It was light, but firm. He could feel the warmth of her skin, the pulse of her presence, the power in her touch. "You will be my mate," she said. Her voice was soft but carried clearly across the hall. "It has always been you." Aaron blinked. He wanted to run, to hide, to apologize for being chosen incorrectly, but he could not. He felt something strange stirring inside him. A mix of fear, awe, and something else he could not name. The council members rushed forward. "This cannot be allowed," one of them shouted. "He is human, fragile, unworthy." Another said, "The traditions demand strength, skill, and courage. He has none of these." Kalia raised her hand, and the hall quieted again. "I choose," she said firmly, "and my choice is final." Aaron felt Claire grab his arm lightly, trying to steady him. "It's okay," she whispered. "Just stay calm." The alien champions stepped forward, murmuring angrily among themselves. Some looked amused, others angry. They could not believe a human, small and weak by their standards, could be chosen over the strongest warriors in the Empire. Aaron was led to a private chamber nearby. His legs shook with every step. He could hear the whispers and protests of the hall fading behind him. He did not know why Kaelia had chosen him. He could only remember the brief encounter from a week ago, when he had fixed a failing energy generator in the palace. He had worked quietly, unnoticed, fixing a problem no one else could solve. He had not thought it mattered. Now he wondered if that small moment was enough for a princess to choose him. Kaelia followed him into the chamber. She did not sit. She remained standing, her eyes bright, examining him. "Do you understand?" she asked. "You are not here by accident. I saw something in you when I watched you work. Something rare in our empire." Aaron shook his head. I don't know what I did. I am just me." "That is exactly why," Kaelia said. "You are human." "Yes. But humans carry a fire inside them. A fire that does not come from strength or skill alone. You face danger, fear, and challenge differently. You act when others hesitate. That is why I chose you." Aaron did not know what to say. He had never been praised like this. He had never been noticed by anyone of importance. He had certainly never imagined an alien princess choosing him for anything. Kaelia smiled faintly. "I know you are frightened. Good. That is natural. But do not let it stop you. You will learn what it means to stand beside me. You will learn courage in ways no human has before." Aaron's mind raced. He wanted to run, yet some part of him felt proud, maybe even ready, though he did not know why. The doors opened, and a guard stepped in with a tray of food. "Eat," Kaelia said. "You will need strength for what comes next. The council will not accept you easily. The Empire will test you. They will try to break you. You must not let them." Aaron sat and ate slowly, trying to take it all in. Kaelia watched him, quiet but alert. She seemed to wait for him to understand, to accept, to rise to what was coming. The night outside the palace windows was deep and calm. Aaron looked at the stars, feeling small but oddly connected to the vastness above. He wondered if he could survive the trials ahead, if he could earn her trust, if he could be worthy of a princess's choice. He did not know. And that was the first step into a world he had never imagined. A world of power, tradition, and alien might. He had no idea that his quiet courage, his unnoticed skill, and his human fire would one day change the empire forever. For now, he was just a human standing where he had no right to stand, chosen by a princess no one expected, beginning a journey that would test everything he thought he knew about himself. Aaron woke early the next morning. The chamber was quiet, filled only with soft light from the high windows. He still could not believe what had happened the day before. A human, standing in the hall of the Valoran Empire, chosen by a princess over their strongest warriors. It seemed impossible. And yet, it had happened. Kalia entered without knocking. She moved with the same quiet authority as yesterday, yet her face was calm. She did not smile. She did not speak immediately. She only watched Aaron as he got ready for the day. "You need to prepare," she said at last. "The council will not let this choice stand without challenge. You must show them you are worthy. Not by words, not by pleading, but by actions." Aaron swallowed. I do not know if I can." "You can," Kalia said firmly. "You have already shown courage. You will show more. The trials begin today." Aaron had heard of the Valoran trials before. They were legendary, meant only for the strongest alien champions. They tested strength, intelligence, endurance, and heart. Most humans would fail immediately, and yet, he was to face them. The first trial was in the arena. It was enormous, a dome of shifting gravity and moving platforms. Warriors had trained for years to navigate it. Aaron stood at the entrance, looking at the tall walls and spinning platforms. His stomach twisted. The aliens next to him were huge, confident, and ready. He felt like a mouse in a den of lions. Kaelia's hand brushed his shoulder. "Remember," she said softly, "strength is not always muscle. Observe, think, and move carefully." Aaron nodded, trying to calm himself. The gates opened. Light flashed. The trial had begun. At first, it was chaos. The platforms shifted underfoot. Gravity pulled in strange directions. Aaron stumbled, nearly falling several times. The alien warriors moved swiftly, jumping and flipping with ease. Aaron's heart pounded. Every step required concentration. Every decision mattered. He remembered Kalia's words. He slowed down. He watched the platforms carefully. He noticed patterns. Some moved in cycles. Some remained stable, for brief moments. Using what he had learned from his engineering work, he timed his steps. Slowly, carefully, he moved forward. One platform dropped unexpectedly. An alien champion leapt to catch himself, spinning in the air. Aaron hesitated, then leapt too. He landed awkwardly, but safely. His heart was racing, but he continued. He focused on observation and timing, not strength. The first trial ended not with a victory, but with survival. Aaron had made it across the arena, while most of the humans watching could barely understand what had happened. Some alien champions looked annoyed. How could a human survive where their strongest warriors struggled? Next came the maze of illusions. The council called it the Mind Labyrinth. Inside, warriors faced visions that preyed on their fears, weaknesses, and doubts. Only those with clear minds could pass. Aaron stepped into the maze. At first, it was simple. Hallways and corridors twisted, mirrors reflected endless paths. Then the illusions began. Aaron saw himself falling into chasms. He saw the emperor and princess rejecting him, He saw friends he cared about in pain, suffering, and loss. He felt fear grip him. He wanted to turn back, to run. But Kalia's voice echoed in his memory. Courage is not absence of fear. Courage is moving forward, despite it. Aaron focused. He told himself the visions were not real. He was not falling. No one he cared for was in danger. He used logic, moving carefully, testing each path. Slowly, he worked through the maze. He stumbled, he hesitated, but he did not give up. Finally, he reached the center. There, Kalia waited. Standing quietly, she placed her hand on his shoulder. "You see," she said, "your mind is strong. You think, you feel, but you do not let fear stop you. That is rare, even among our people." Aaron could hardly breathe. He wanted to smile, but he felt exhausted. Kalia guided him out of the maze. Outside, the sun, or whatever passed for it in the palace, shone gently. The council watched in silence. The last test of the day was moral judgment. The council presented a situation where Aaron had to decide between self-preservation and helping another. A wounded alien competitor lay in the arena, clearly unable to continue. Others wanted him removed immediately. Aaron was expected to follow instructions, ignore the weak, and move on. Aaron looked at the injured competitor. He remembered Kaelia's words. True strength is in choices, not power. He hesitated only briefly, then helped the alien to a safe area. Some council members frowned. Others whispered. But Aaron did not care. He had made the choice he knew was right. Kaelia's eyes shone with approval. You act when others hesitate. You do not act for glory, only because it is right. That is why I chose you. Aaron felt a strange warmth. He was tired, sore, and nervous, yet proud. He had passed trials that had broken many elite warriors. He was a human, small and weak by appearance, yet he had survived. He had acted with courage, wit, and heart. That night, in his chamber, he thought about the day. Kaelia visited him briefly, checking on his injuries and offering advice. She told him the trials would continue, more dangerous and complex than today. But she also assured him that he had the ability to succeed. Aaron wondered what would happen if he failed. He wondered if the council would punish him or reject Kaelia's choice entirely. He also felt a spark of something new, confidence. He realized that perhaps humans were underestimated not because they were weak, but because their kind of courage was different. Quiet, clever, persistent. The next morning, the trials continued. Aaron was tested in endurance, forced to climb steep walls of alien rock with shifting gravity, and navigate water-filled chambers filled with currents strong enough to sweep away even the strongest alien swimmers. He fell, stumbled, and struggled. But he kept moving. He observed, thought, and adapted. In one chamber, a massive alien competitor blocked a narrow bridge. He was taller and stronger than Aaron. Muscles bulging. Eyes fierce. Most humans would have panicked. Aaron noticed a small ledge above the bridge. Using a combination of timing, balance, and careful jumps, he climbed above and passed safely. The alien tried to follow, but slipped and fell back into the water. Aaron's heart pounded, but he did not celebrate. He had only survived. By the end of the day, whispers spread across the empire. The humans had never seen anything like this. A human surviving the arena, the maze, and the moral trials? Impossible, they thought. Yet, here he was. Aaron Blake, quiet engineer, small human, chosen by Princess Kaelia. Surviving challenges that even elite aliens struggled to pass. Kaelia watched him after the trials. You have done well, she said, but the council will not accept you easily. You must prepare for their anger and schemes. They will try to break you before you reach my side fully. They do not understand what humans are capable of. Aaron nodded. I will try, he said. I do not know if I can keep up, but I will try. Kaelia smiled faintly. That is enough for now. Rest. Tomorrow, more awaits. You are stronger than you know, and I will not allow anyone to take you from what we have begun. Aaron lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. He felt fear, exhaustion, and determination, all at once. He realized he could not go back to being unnoticed. He had entered a world of power, danger, and alien tradition. He was human, small, and underestimated. But he also understood something new. Perhaps humans had their own kind of power, one that could change an empire. As he drifted to sleep, he thought of Kaelia, of the trials, of the council, and of the path ahead. It would be dangerous, exhausting, and terrifying. But for the first time, Aaron felt ready to face the impossible, because he had been chosen. And he would not fail. Aaron woke early again. His body ached from the previous day's trials. But he could not rest. The palace corridors were quiet, and the morning light filtered through the tall windows, painting the floors with soft colors. He knew today would be harder. The council was not pleased with a human surviving the first tests, and he could feel their disapproval, hanging in the air, like a heavy fog. Kaelia appeared at his door without knocking, as always. The council will challenge you in ways designed to make you fail. Do not underestimate them. But remember, cleverness and heart are just as important as strength. Aaron nodded. He was tired, but something inside him had changed. Yesterday, he had survived. He had shown that a human could endure and act with courage. That thought gave him a strange confidence. Maybe he could do this. He followed Kaelia and her guards to a massive hall beyond the palace. It was open to the sky, with platforms and chambers rising in layers. Aaron could see alien warriors already in place, preparing for the new trials. Some were stretching, flexing muscles that seemed impossible to him. Others whispered among themselves, shooting looks at him that were a mix of disbelief and annoyance. The first challenge of the day was a climb across a cliff-like structure. The walls were jagged, covered in alien vines that seemed to move slightly, as if alive. Gravity shifted in patches, making each step unpredictable. Aaron stared at the cliff and swallowed hard. His arms and legs burned, just thinking about it. Kaelia touched his shoulder. Observe, she said. Do not rush. Find the pattern. Use your mind, as well as your body. Aaron nodded. He started slowly, testing each handhold and foothold. The alien warriors shot past him like wind. He stumbled, nearly losing his grip several times. But he paused, breathed, and focused. He noticed small cracks in the wall that held firmer than the vines. He moved from crack to crack, careful, deliberate. Step by step, he climbed. Halfway up, one of the alien champions tried to block his path. He was tall, broad, and clearly annoyed. Most humans would have panicked. Aaron stopped, measured the distance, and found a small ledge above the champion. He climbed over it and continued without looking back. The alien grunted in frustration, but made no further attempt to stop him. By the time he reached the top, Aaron's arms trembled, sweat poured down his face, and he felt dizzy. Yet, he had made it. The council whispered among themselves, unable to hide surprise. A human had finished a trial meant for the strongest alien warriors. There was no time to rest. The next challenge began immediately. The Chamber of Illusions, now more dangerous than yesterday. The walls shimmered as he entered, and the floor seemed to ripple like water. The illusions were stronger, targeting not just fear, but doubt, shame, and weakness. Aaron saw visions of failure. He saw the princess rejecting him, the council laughing at his mistakes, and humans everywhere calling him a fool. He felt panic rise in his chest. His hands shook. Then he remembered Kaelia's words. Cleverness and heart are as important as strength. He told himself the visions were false. He focused on his own steps, moving carefully, ignoring what he saw. When the illusions tried to show him falling into pits, he stopped and tested each step. When they showed him being mocked, he focused on his own determination instead. Slowly, steadily, he moved through the maze. At one point, he found a small alien child caught in an illusion, trapped in fear. No one else had noticed. Aaron approached carefully and guided the child out of danger. It was risky. The illusions could have trapped him too. But he helped the child anyway. When he exited the maze, Kaelia was waiting. Her eyes were bright. "You did more than survive," she said. "You acted with courage and care. That is more than most of our warriors could do." Aaron felt tired, but proud. He realized that surviving was not enough. He had to act rightly, to think of others, to show his humanity. The council was restless. They whispered angrily, clearly planning something. Aaron sensed it. They would not allow a human to rise without trying to destroy him. He felt fear, but he also felt a growing determination. The next trial was meant to test endurance and reaction. The arena became a shifting battlefield. Panels dropped from the ceiling, walls moved unpredictably, and water filled certain sections in sudden bursts. The alien warriors moved with precision, reacting almost instinctively. Aaron struggled. His body ached, his breath was heavy, and his arms trembled from the climb. Then he noticed something. The movement of the walls and panels followed a pattern, subtle but present. Using observation, he calculated timing and moved carefully. When water burst from the floor, he jumped to safety, noticing small, stable ledges. Step by step, he advanced. In one section, a panel fell suddenly, blocking his path. An alien warrior pushed him aside roughly, expecting him to fail. Aaron reacted quickly. He ducked under the panel and pushed it aside just enough to slip through. The other warrior looked shocked. The council whispered angrily. By the end of the trial, Aaron was soaked, bruised, and exhausted. Yet, he had survived again. Not with brute strength, but with careful thought, timing, and courage. Kaelia nodded approvingly. "You see," she said, "your strength is different. It is human, yes, but it is real. They do not understand it. Yet you have it." Aaron wanted to ask questions, but Kaelia motioned him to rest. The trials were not over. More tests awaited, designed to challenge even the strongest warriors to their limits. That night, as Aaron recovered, whispers grew louder. Some of the alien warriors muttered that humans were inferior and should not be allowed to continue. Others were curious. How could a human survive when their strongest could barely endure? A few even started to admire him quietly, though they would never admit it openly. Aaron thought about the council. He knew they would try to block him at every step. Perhaps sabotage, perhaps deception. He had to stay alert. But he also felt a strange satisfaction. He had already proven something. Humans were not weak, not in the ways that mattered most. Kaelia visited again, checking on his injuries and speaking quietly. "You have done well," she said. "But remember, the council will not accept your survival as enough. They will test loyalty, courage, and wisdom. They will attempt to break you. You must be ready." Aaron nodded. I will try," he said. "I don't know if I can match them, but I will do my best." Kaelia placed a hand on his shoulder. That is all I ask. Courage is not in never falling, but in rising each time. You have risen, Aaron. Keep rising. The next day, he faced more complex trials. One involved navigating a hall filled with moving obstacles and sudden traps. Another required him to answer questions from alien elders about morality, ethics, and loyalty. In each test, Aaron struggled physically, but thought carefully. He used knowledge, timing, and judgment to survive where others relied on brute force. In one trial, a rival warrior tried to trick him into a trap. Aaron noticed the subtle signs, the shifting shadows, the faint marks on the floor, and avoided the trap completely. He also guided the rival to safety, showing both cleverness and heart. The council was silent. Some whispered in frustration. By the end of the day, Aaron was battered and tired, but he had survived all challenges. The whispers across the empire grew. Aliens began to see that humans might have abilities beyond what they expected. Kalia smiled faintly. You have done more than survive, she said. You have earned respect, though it may be quiet and grudging. That is enough for now. Aaron lay down that night, exhausted but not defeated. He thought of the path ahead. He would face more trials, more danger, and more opposition. The council would continue to test him, and some aliens would try to harm him. Yet he felt something new. Confidence. Humans were underestimated. Yes, but perhaps that was their greatest strength. He closed his eyes, thinking of Kaelia, the trials, and the Empire watching him. He was small, human, and alone in a world of giants. Yet he had survived. He had acted with courage, cleverness, and heart. And tomorrow, he would rise again.